Hey everyone, welcome to another Touch Podcast. This week we're doing the episode 61 to 65, and that's including like the real identity of the coach Kashiwaba, Minami doing the tournaments,
Rhythm
and
gymnastics.
yep, gymnastic and everything in between.
Everything in between. You mean baseball?
Baseball, that's
That's what's
right.
in between. I
And
mean, would you really say that the real identity of Coach Kashiwaba has been revealed, or
it's not, but it has been hinted that so it turned out that it's not the coach, but it's not the one that they initial talk about, but it's the product.
oh, I see what you're saying. By identity, you mean like his name, who he
Yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. But I mean, clearly there's more to who he is because
That's right.
in episode 65, Tatsuya, he and Tatsuya have this adversarial relationship, and Tatsuya says, I wonder what was really going on during those 3 years when you were at Meisei. What kind of baseball,
Yeah,
career did you have? And he
yeah.
says,
We
if you're
will
going to
find
look
that
into
soon.
it, you might discover something that would get Meisei banned from the Koshien.
Hmm, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But I actually like this review very much. I like we talked about last week. If he experienced some of the like trauma in the past 10 years or not, it turned out that he's like a product of a very successful baseball players, and I would see why there is like a rivalry between them, and that's why he have seen Tatsuya. He has seen like Tatsuya and Katsuya dynamic a bit like more different than other people as well. I love that.
Yeah. The what he says to Tatsuya, what is it, episode? Is it
I
63, 64?
It's between these the one, yeah, 63 or 64.
I'm talking about like the scene in the cafe.
Yep, yep. I think this is like one of the darkest moment in touch that we have seen so far.
Yeah. I mean, the darkest has to be Kazuya's death because the show I mean, it doesn't cover it in detail. It happens like off screen, but people's reactions to it,
Yep,
like seeing Tatsuya's parents being completely,
loss.
yeah, they're not even responding. Really, they're it's like their souls have left their bodies. Um, that's got to be the darkest moment so far.
Yep,
But Kashiwaba saying all that stuff about how it's like perfect timing that Kazuya died because now Tatsuya can be the one to take the team to the Koshien. That's like the most evil
yep,
moment of Touch so
yep,
far. That is like truly horrible.
yep.
Um, so yeah, whatever he experienced when he was at Meisei, like playing alongside his brother or whatever the case may be, must have been pretty damaging.
Yep.
And Tatsuya, he's on the case. He goes, I think, with Minami into the
Yep.
records room of the baseball club, and they're trying to find the books from those particular years when he was at school there. But they've
Missing.
been, yeah, and it's the principal who took them.
Jesus.
Can I just say the principal is a real piece of crap?
I agree with you on that. He, oh my, he did all the wrong things.
Yeah, he made the mistake. He hired a Eiichiro instead of Eiichiro.
Yep,
Because Eiichiro was the one who Coach Nishio recommended, and he hired the brother, who
yep,
has a J in his name instead of a CH. So that's the first mistake. But then he continually covers it up. He takes
yep.
the books from the records room and hides them in his own office. And I do
He,
wonder if there's going to be a scene where, like, are we ever going to see those books again? Is anyone going to go into his office and open up those doors to
I,
that cabinet? And
I really hope that Minami does that, and he have the guts to like to not telling the coach about what he tried, and when he saw Minami come in, like when he ready to tell the coach why they hiring that guy, he also had the gut to say to her that strength is the last thing that the coach want to experience, especially with baseball.
Right.
Oh
Well,
god.
he goes a step farther than that because the show in the last batch of 5 episodes, the show brought up the stress excuse. Um, that's why Tatsuya and Kotaro didn't tell him about what was happening. And
Yep.
now he's used it for the principal, and the principal has passed that excuse on to Minami to cover his own ass.
Yep.
But even beyond him just being like, "Oh no, don't stress him out," Minami says, "Well, I mean, ultimately, Coach Nishio bears the responsibility for this
Yep.
because he's the one who recommended this guy." She says that to the principal who made the mistake, and the principal's just like he just lets that comment go and watches Minami walk off. Like she is blaming Coach Nishio for something that he did not do. The principal did it. He's passing the buck on to a sick man.
Yep. Yep.
You want to talk
And
about stressing somebody out? He's creating a terrible situation for Coach Nishio when this eventually all boils over.
yep. Yep. And even before that, he pressured Minami into participating in interviews and all
Right.
this stuff that she doesn't want to do. So this one is, like you said, a piece of crap.
Yep. I mean, I have to imagine that most high school principals in this situation would do the same thing.
Yeah.
Like they can't let uh, children find out that they're not perfect.
Yep.
So they just have to lie to them instead. That's what it means to be an adult. You lie to kids.
Oh, so I think that make the action from Moonlight. Remember the guy who say uh to the kid that
Chiron.
he, yeah, yeah. Oh my god, he's a pro, man.
What did he say though? Why does that remind you of that specifically? Oh, that
Oh,
he didn't lie, that he told the truth.
yep, yep, yep.
Yeah.
Chiron asked him if he selling drugs, and he said yes.
Yeah. I do remember that.
Yeah,
It's a pretty sad scene, man.
yeah, I
And
know.
then it cuts straight to the second act of the film after that.
Yep, yep. We never see him again.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Jesus. All right, back to Touch. So we see the first match, the first practice match of Messi, and
Yeah. Well,
and
before that though, there's episode 61.
yep.
There's baseball even before that. It's the one where Nishimura, like, because the
Oh
cliffhanger
yeah,
of
yeah,
episode
yeah,
60 is the one where he's
yeah.
like hitting Nishimura with his bamboo sword.
You know what? I really had Touch for uh for all the anticlimax. They promised a match now between Tatsuya and Kashiwama now, and turned out that Tatsuya lose. So Minami has to she cannot join the team again,
Right.
and it create the whole bigger conflict. And now I have to wait for another 10-20 episodes for that to resolve. I hate that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if there's anything good that comes out of that whole showdown with Nishimura,
Yep.
um, and I mean, episode 61, that whole thing, like Nishimura coming over to the baseball diamond and being like, "I challenge you. Let's see if you can
Mhm.
hit it," and then Tatsuya being conscripted to do it after Kashiwaba fails to hit any of his curves. Like
Yep.
that. Anyway, that whole thing probably would have taken 5 minutes in real time. But
Right.
episode 61 stretches it out to take like more than 20 minutes.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So you're
Yep.
just like, oh, come on, just show me what happens. But if there's
Yep.
anything good that comes out of that episode, it's that you realize that Tatsuya was telling the truth when he told Minami, like, I'm going to do
That
something about this.
and then he didn't do it. He couldn't do it.
But he couldn't, but he did. He found an opportunity to try to,
Yeah.
like, grasp some leverage and get Minami back into the baseball team. Like, he saw his opportunity and he took it. He failed,
Yep.
but he uh,
Yep.
he
As,
wasn't
as,
lying to Minami when he said, I can't do anything about it now, but I will.
yep.
He still has that on his mind. He does fail. He doesn't hit Nishimura's curve, even though Kashiwaba does give him the right timing.
Yep. Ah, all
But
right.
yes, then we do eventually go on to the practice match with what is it? Seinan?
Yes, in it.
Yeah, Seinan.
In which Kashiwaba decided to just take all these second member teams. I think there is some merit behind his decisions.
Really?
Besides trying to sabotage the team, yes.
You're like
I
that one guy who in the locker room defends. Do you remember like there are some of the locker room scenes where there's one guy on the Meisei
Yep,
team with glasses who will defend the coach,
yep,
and then the other guy will be like, "Shut up! You're always defending him."
yep, yep, yeah.
You're that guy.
All right. I think this is a good opportunity for others member to train as well. I think, and like if they see their shortcoming, they will be practice more to improve that. I think that's a good merit in that. Except that I think the main intention of Kashiwaba is just to try to sabotage the team.
Yeah. Well, he's daring. Yeah, I think he does intend to sabotage the team, and he dares Tatsuya to look up. Essentially, he's daring Tatsuya to sabotage the team himself. Like,
Yep,
go ahead and
yep,
dig into my past, see what happens. You're
yep,
not gonna
yep.
like you're gonna be disqualified. There's gonna be a scandal. You're gonna be disqualified from competing if you
Find
keep
out the
digging
truth.
around.
Yep. Ha.
So one way or another, I think he definitely wants to sink the Meisei baseball team. But at the same time, you get the sense that I mean, there's a particular moment actually in these episodes where I got the sense that he does want to win. Like he wants to coach this team to a win, and that was when when Nishimura's elbow gets hurt
Yep.
when
Yep.
because he's continually pitching curves and he's like snaps something in his arm. I think Kashiwaba sees that right away because as soon as that happens, he starts letting the regular members of the team pinch hit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he took that action immediately makes me think he saw that weakness in the opposing pitcher and he like pounced on it.
Yep.
He was like, "This is an opportunity."
Yep. Yep.
So that sort of thing kind of indicates that he has some sort of like competitive drive,
Yep.
But at the same time, it's not as
Yep.
though he returns everybody to their positions.
Yeah.
Even when he puts those three guys back in, he like Kotaro is at first base,
Yep.
instead of catching. So he's not gonna turn on a dime and all of a sudden be like, oh man, I just really want to win. I just want Meisei to go to the Koshien and let's do this team. That's not happening.
This guy, purely evil.
Yeah. Well, the stuff that he said to Tatsuya
Yeah.
was really horrible, like vile.
Yeah. I agree.
You have to imagine that he's venting his feelings about his own brother
Yeah.
when he says
Yeah.
that, like he wants his own brother dead,
Yeah.
or maybe I don't know, maybe even that he killed him.
Yeah.
Something really bad.
I really want to see his flashback to see like what has gone through,
Yeah.
because the damage is done.
Yeah. And he's still like messing with Tatsuya and Minami too. Like when Kotaro asks him for
Yep.
can we play the practice game and Kotaro says it's on a Sunday, Kashiwaba actually smiles and says sure. It's like he knew that would inconvenience Tatsuya and prevent him from going to see Minami
Oh man.
at the gymnastics meet.
Ah man.
Because
Uh,
there's a scene in I can't remember which of these episodes, maybe 63, where or 62, where Kashiwaba is outside the gymnasium where Minami practices, and she like runs into him.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
I can't remember what their exchange, what the dialogue is like exactly, but he was kind of loitering around outside, like he was spying, like he was seeing when their meet was going to be, and he was going to sabotage Tatsuya and stop him from going and cheering on his girlfriend.
All right, I love the one scene where like after Minami learned that Tatsuya had to lose, so she had to be like not in the team baseball team anymore as a manager. So she walked on the beach, and she saw Nita is there. They actually have a date on the beach or something,
Yeah.
and you see like the beach is glittering, and the ocean on the beach is glittering, and it's the kind of like of information you don't see anymore in anime this day. I
Right.
just love the old throwback.
Yeah, it's created with real light.
Yep.
Like, I don't know if they poke holes in the cell and let light shine through from underneath on the animation stand, or if they if they put some sort of material onto the cell or
Yeah.
between two cells that catches the light that way. I don't know what they do exactly, but yeah, it's very, it's like physical. It's created practically,
Yep.
and it definitely does have a special sort of appeal. Kind of reminds me of Dezaki.
Oh. All right.
He often like animates water that way.
Yeah. And it's just a stark contrast between that and like what we see earlier, because I would say that the quality had dropped a little bit in these early scenes of the episodes 56, I think.
Are you talking about one of these 5 episodes?
Yeah, on one of these 5 episodes.
Oh, this is
Because-
61 to 65.
Sorry, 6. So at the beginning of 61, I think the quality had dropped a little bit there.
I do
But then-
remember seeing some characters that were kind of wonky
Awkward.
looking. Yeah.
Yeah,
It probably was episode 61.
Yeah.
That was the worst episode of these 5, I think. It was like the least interesting. It was just the duel with Nishimura stretched out forever. Yeah, I do. Now that I'm
And-
thinking about it, I know what you're talking about.
And even like it happened before in this few episode before, but this one I see the it had like the I see it even more clearly. Even Kotaro, I think in one of the scene like his body was was really big.
Yeah, I
really
thought the
feel
exact
abnormal.
same thing.
Yeah. But
Maybe he's
well,
just eating a lot more.
on that one scene, yes.
Yeah, I
So-
remember that. Episode 62. That's the beach one.
Yeah.
I think that was probably my favorite out of these 5. There's a lot,
All right.
a lot more going on than it kind of rescued me from episode 61, where it was like real slow moving, and just about 6 pitches essentially.
Yeah.
There were 6
Yeah.
pitches. That was the episode. That's the one where they go to the hospital, where the principal goes to the hospital. So does Minami, and Minami's frustration drives her to she goes out of the hospital, and she's walking, and she's so frustrated, she's so angry that she seemingly unconsciously goes to the baseball stadium where Nita is playing. Like, she
Yeah.
doesn't even intend to. She walks there, and then she kind of looks up out of her daze that she's been in, and Nita's team is just exiting the stadium, as though her legs carried her to see him.
Yep.
And something similar happens in episode 65, because after Minami fails to make the podium at the gymnastics meet, she does
Yeah.
get top 5, which means she qualifies for the inter-high, but she misses the podium. She misses top 3. So she's upset about that. Gymnastics is not her passion necessarily, so she's not distraught,
Mhm.
but she's certainly not satisfied. So she walks
think-
out of the stadium, or the auditorium where the gymnastics meet was happening, and lo and behold, she finds herself at Sumitech watching Nita field
Practice.
ground balls.
Yep.
And
Yep.
again, you kind of get the sensation that she didn't really mean to go there. It's just her legs carried her there.
Yep.
So it's like she's being drawn to him
Yep.
unconsciously.
Hmm.
Happens twice in the span of 5 episodes.
Yep. And
If you're Tatsuya, You can't be feeling good about this.
I yep, I see. Yes. Um, I actually think that she also realized that she hasn't put enough effort. Like she didn't have a drive to win, to try to win.
Right.
So that's why she yeah, even though that everyone think that she performed well, she's just missing a little something to really like become the top.
Yeah. I mean, that's when you see all the scores that the judges give to her after each of her individual routines in episode 65 during the gymnastics meet. It's always like a 9.4 or something.
Yep.
She'll come back over, and the little blue leotard girl with the squeaky voice will
Yep.
be like, "Oh, the judges are being really harsh today." But and then it'll cut to Minami's face or to Naruhodo's face.
Yeah.
I don't know why I forgot his name all of a sudden.
Haruda.
Harada, that's right.
Harada.
It'll cut to either her face or his, and they'll have kind of like a knowing look, and so they understand what's really
Naruhodo.
happening. And what's happening is that Minami hasn't, she's not able to perform up to a perfect standard because she hasn't really dedicated herself.
And like part of her is still waiting for Tatsuya as well to come.
Right. Yes. There's that too. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god.
You see her scanning the crowd a couple times.
Yeah.
Um,
Scheming Yuka.
yes. Where she keeps screaming as she's changing
No.
her clothes to prevent him from
Yeah.
walking out the door without her. Yeah. She's.
Oh my god. That girl. She
You can't hate her though.
Yeah. She's good.
Yeah. I mean, love is a battlefield. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do like that the episode, the gymnastics meet, doesn't lean entirely on like her being upset that Tatsuya is not there. She's also dissatisfied with her own performance, just
Yep.
individually speaking, and she recognizes that there's a little bit of truth in what Kusaka says. Kusaka is
Yep.
the freshman girl who wants to get into the top 10,
Yep.
and she like idolizes Minami, but then after she messes up during her club's routine with the two baton things, and they're there in the the locker room. She says, "You don't even have to try, and you can still place in the top 5."
Yep.
That's really a hurtful thing to say,
Mhm.
but Minami recognizes that she's right.
Yep.
So I appreciate the fact that Minami is able to be introspective about it.
Yep. Yep. That's a really good scene from Minami. This 5 episode we don't see a lot of Tatsuya and Minami though, right?
The two of them together, no, not that much. I don't think.
Yep.
She's getting more into gymnastics, or I should say, the story is
Yep. Yep.
putting
yep.
its focus on gymnastics a little bit more. And baseball too. I mean, these 5 episodes were more athletically driven than a lot of recent ones have been. We've just come out of a stretch of like a lot of
Love triangle.
yeah, like a lot of romance, a lot of comedy,
Yeah.
which I really like.
Mhm, mhm.
So the fact that it's baseball and gymnastics now is not really my favorite thing, but it's
Oh
just
really?
yeah, I like the rom-com stuff.
All right. I actually think that these 5 are pretty good as well. Like it shed more light for Kashiwaba, and now it just like the interaction between Kashiwaba and Tatsuya is really interesting because we still don't know exactly what angle Kashiwaba see for to Tatsuya.
Right. We do know that Minami slaps him though.
Yep, and that's a good call.
Right. Yeah, that's what he says to her because
Yep.
I'm sure he heard Tatsuya get up out of his seat behind him.
Yep.
People keep having to save Tatsuya from getting into a brawl with the coach. Kotaro had to continually like grab his arm and pull him off to run laps.
Yep.
Yuka has at least once like distracted him when he was ready to like make a smart remark to the coach. And now Minami is having to physically assault a man so that Tatsuya won't do the same thing but worse.
Man.
There's also there's a scene between Nita and his sister. We haven't gotten one of those in a while. But we see the two of them together. I think it's episode 62 still, because that's the one where Nita is together with Minami at the beach. So after that, I guess it closes out the episode, or it's close to the end. You see the two of them talking, and she's like, she's acting as his cheerleader still. Like, you can do it. She must be leaning in your direction now. You've really got Minami on a string, and he's like, who knows? I don't know about that.
Yep.
I kind of feel, honestly, episode 62, when they're on the beach together, that was his chance. If I'm Nita in that scenario, that's when you confess.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Yes.
He says to her on the beach, "Uesugi is always in your heart, isn't he?" Yeah. He says that kind of unprompted. Like, it's not as though she brings him up. Yeah. She says something about Meisei going to the Koshien, obviously.
Yeah.
But he is so obsessed with baseball that he links her saying that to Tatsuya.
Yeah.
Like, it's as though he's like baseball sexual. He's just like, he can't separate the two in his head.
Yeah, but the thing is, even if he confess on that beach that day, I don't think Minami gonna be agree. So
we don't know for sure. I mean, if she's going and seeing him twice in this span of 5 episodes, and she's doing it whenever she's feeling particularly like low or frustrated or upset or whatever, it's Nita who she goes to for comfort. So I mean that. Oh my God, your window is open.
Yeah, that's just someone driving there.
Yeah, I mean that sounded like a motorcycle, kind of like Nita's motorcycle. That was his shot, and he blew it. Yeah. But I mean, Minami just because Nita's not a main character. Minami, it's not as though Minami would have been like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. And we start to see some dissatisfaction from the team member as well. This one I think even more vocal than ever before. So I'm not. It's interesting to see if like there will be some sort of friction between the team or between the team member and Kashiwaba, or like it mostly just Tatsuya and Kashiwaba.
Yeah, I mean that's the other members of the team besides Tatsuya, Kotaro, and the guy with the glasses who has a crush on Yuka, who pops up from time to time. Like he got put in right field for the practice game against Seihan.
Yeah.
Apart from the 3 of them, nobody else on the team really has a name or matters. But it's true, we have seen a couple locker room conversations between members of the baseball team where they're like, "This isn't fun anymore," or "Oh God, I'm exhausted. Why I can't go on like this,"
Yeah.
And Kotaro has to be like, "Let's all go get what I can never say this word, okonomiyaki or something like that." Yeah. Basically, he's like, "Let's go out and
eat.
Load up my treat. Yeah. We're all gonna fill our stomachs." So his wallet is taking a hit just so he can keep the team together.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, so it's possible, like, because we've gotten those scenes and we have seen that they're dissatisfied, it's possible there'll be some sort of like mutiny, or the team will break up, or like some members of the team might step away or whatever. It remains to be seen. Kashiwaba is still at large.
Yeah. And then this issue with Nishimura getting injury as well. So that would be sad for him.
Because all he has going is baseball. It's not as though he can get Minami to pay any attention to him. So all he has is his curveball, and now that's being taken away from him.
Yeah. So it's interesting to see how he handle that.
I have to imagine, given his temperament, that he will probably just ignore it.
That's gonna
And
be the worst.
yeah.
Yep.
I mean, he's a hothead, so
Yeah.
he's probably just gonna
He I he actually, yeah, he didn't acknowledge that to other
Mhm.
members.
Right.
So
And when the manager of his team tries to give him an ice pack, he's like, "Shut up! I don't need this." Blah blah
mm-hmm.
blah.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So he will probably continue to push himself and pitch curveballs, and eventually get injured.
Yeah.
Wait, weren't we speculating about what would happen with his character the last time we talked about Touch? I just got
That's
deja
right.
vu.
Yeah, we did talk about that, and you said like we know for sure that he married the manager because
Oh, that's right.
yeah, it happened in mix.
Right. Yeah, you see that that girl is his wife.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Um, but I thought we were talking about more than just that, about his character, like about his
No,
stubbornness and stuff.
no, we didn't actually talk much about him.
Okay.
He's like a comedic relief
Yes. Yes, he
up
is.
until now.
Yep.
So yep, I think this is a good a good batch of 5 episodes for me, and hopefully next time we will see more or we will know more about it this coach. And
Eiichiro, not
yeah.
Eiichiro.
Yeah.
We'll know more about Eiichiro. Hopefully. Hopefully we can
Yeah.
get this resolved and the principal can be exposed for the lying bastard that he is.
This guy. God. Yeah.
He was even in the stands watching Minami at the gymnastics meet.
Yep. Yeah, I remember
He
that.
was in the audience. Even he was there, but Tatsuya was not there.
Yeah.
Tatsuya needs to step it up, man.
Yep. I know. All right. I So what is our next time for another touch podcast? I think it's gonna be next podcast, right?
Yeah, 2 weeks from now we'll talk about Touch again, but I don't know when I'll put up another episode of the Touch thing.
All right.
So by that time we may have already published, you know, the wrap up to the winter 2022 season or the preview of the spring 2022 season. Or since I'm doing all the Touch stuff separately, I don't know exactly when people are going to hear this. But we are
No
talking
worries.
about Touch again in 2 weeks.
Yeah. No worries. All right.
And by that time we'll be 70 out of 101.
We getting there.
Yeah, I mean the ending is not in sight, but it's closer now than it was before.
Yep. Yep. All right. So see you guys in the next 2 weeks
Right,
or whatever this one come out.
right. We'll see you then, whenever that may be.
Yep.
We're back with another Touchcast, everybody. This time we're talking about episodes 66 to 70. So at this point, I would say that we're pretty close to the end. I mean, we won't finish until maybe late 2022 at this rate, especially
but-
since one of us is going away on a long vacation to watch a lot of films in France,
Yeah.
which is pretty exciting. Touch, not as exciting, but we're soldiering on. We've got 5 new episodes, and they're coming down from a high, at least in my opinion. I really like the last batch of 5. This one, a little bit less impressive, but I still enjoy my time with the show.
I agree with that. So I think this batch of 5 is less eventful as the last one, and we don't even get to see like many like true baseball matches in this part of 5. But like some stuff happen. We get to see a true backstory of Kashiwaba. Is it true or not? Is up in the air actually.
Yeah, we don't know. I mean, it's told to us from the lips of your favorite character,
Yep.
Harada.
He's still my favorite characters.
Yeah, so I'm sure that you are inclined to believe everything that he's saying, but I mean, it's delivered secondhand. I mean, it's Harada's uncle who tells him that.
Yep, true.
So who knows? Who knows whether that's true or not? Kashiwaba is obviously not forthcoming with any answers. But there, yeah, there's a little bit of information that we get about him. He took the fall for his brother's car accident,
Yep.
so that there wouldn't be any sort of like penalty, and he'd still be able to go and pitch at the Koshien.
Yep.
I think their team made it to the Koshien, and as a result of that, I guess he's really bitter. And there's also somewhere in these 5 episodes, I can't remember which one it is, but there's an incident where he's doing batting practice as he typically does, purposefully aiming at everybody's bodies so that he can like pummel them with baseballs, like the coach from Aim for the Ace did with Hiromi.
Yep.
I mean,
Oh
I have
God,
no doubt there's a direct inspiration there because Aim for the Ace was so influential.
I just want to lie of me. Don't get it, but yeah. Go on. Don't get why
Yeah,
you
it
need
doesn't
to
make
hit
a lot of
the.
sense.
Right.
But when
Yeah, but
he's
go
doing
on.
that batting practice, he like Kotaro or somebody tosses him a ball and he tries to grab it and he misses. And later you see him at the doctor's office or in the hospital. So you can infer that there's something going on with him, like medically.
Yep.
Something's up. And that may be another reason why he has like a grudge against the Meisei baseball team, and he's just like overflowing with bitterness. He wants to punish everybody,
Yeah.
probably for the terrible
Um.
hand that life has dealt him.
Yep. I'm still unsure what condition that he have. It's implied that he had some sort of injury, or it just maybe he got like when he get into stress, his vision is blur, but like like one of team member in Malaysia.
Right. Yeah, he does make a comment to what's his face,
So,
Nakajima. Episodes 69 and 70 are specifically about the starting shortstop for Meisei, Nakajima, who quits the team and doesn't reveal until much later that the reason for it is that his vision has been blurry recently.
yep.
And he goes to the doctor. The doctor says it's just stress, but Kashiwaba recognizes that even before he gets that diagnosis, and he says,
That's right.
you're just afraid. You're just afraid of the ball."
Yep.
So Kashiwaba having some knowledge of what's going on with Nakajima may imply that Kashiwaba has experience with this.
Yep.
He's suffering from vision issues himself, and that's why he wasn't able, like he failed to catch the ball that one time and then canceled practice all of a sudden. Or else he like knows somebody who had a similar disorder, and that figures into his like shady past at Meisei.
Yep.
I mean,
Maybe.
either way, we're learning just a little bit at a time about Eiichiro,
Yep.
not Eiichiro, because
uh,
that's who we're supposed to be seeing.
yep.
But the principal is just a
Mess up.
dick.
Yeah. He is, like I really
Yeah.
love the moment when Minami call him out, and like telling him that they got the wrong coach, and what he did, he just said like, is it possible? Okay, I'm busy right now. You go on with your practice. Bye.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He literally just runs away. And Minami does her little thing where she kind of puffs up her cheeks a little bit and goes, "More,"
Yep.
because the principal's gotten away once again.
And yep.
But at
So,
least, I mean, it's frustrating that he is so irresponsible, but at the very least, like every time we talk about Touch, like the characters have learned something new about
Yep.
Kashiwaba.
Yep.
The show isn't just putting him on the back burner.
Yep.
At the same time, though, it's not going to give us the answer just because we're asking for it. He seems to be like a permanent fixture at this point. And there's even, interestingly, there are signs that Tatsuya is coming around to Kashiwaba's way of thinking. Like,
Yep.
for example, when Nakajima quits the baseball team, Tatsuya says, "If you want to quit, just quit." That's his attitude. And, like, Minami is surprised to hear him say that, but Tatsuya is on board with Kashiwaba's philosophy,
Yep.
at least in this case.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
I had a lot of complaint on the way that they that the character handle the situation. But I think it's just like like Japan 30 years ago. So yeah, that kind of like
What do you
accepted
mean the
at the
situation?
time.
You mean
Uh,
the situation with Nakajima specifically, or just with Kashiwaba in general?
with both, like all right, with Nakashima specifically, it's like he got an issue, but he doesn't like tell everyone what happened to him.
Right.
It's
Yeah, I guess that is
and
pretty Japanese, just to keep your troubles to yourself.
yeah, that's right. And then everyone just get on his cage, but like not directly ask him the reason. He didn't know the reason, but like anyone we just tell him, come back, we need you. Just didn't actually address the issues at all. And
Right.
the way that the captain just like keep silencing about that as well, and then not directly say to Kashiwaba about like quit he quitting the club. Like all the
Yeah, they
things
keep
that's
lying and saying his mom was sick, his sister's
yeah,
sick, he had a toothache, blah blah blah.
yep,
And
the
then
stomach
Kotaro gets
ache.
it mixed up at the end. I that got a laugh out of me because
Yep, yep,
Kotaro's the coach and everyone looks to him for guidance and stuff, but he's still kind of clumsy.
yep. So yeah, it's just the way they handle the issue is like by today's standard, by my standard is not good at all. But well,
Yeah, well, I think the fact that it plays out over the course of 2 episodes instead of one has a lot to do with that as well. Not sure it
yep,
needed to be quite as long as it was, because it just keeps you
yep,
in suspense about what Nakajima's situation is. I mean, to the show's credit, I was curious. It's not as though
yep,
I was like, "Oh, Nakajima, I don't care about him," because he's not an important
yep,
character. But nevertheless, my curiosity was aroused by the show. The way it kept like dangling the issue like a carrot out in front of me, just within arm's reach. Got 2 episodes
mm,
out of it. Still, it was, you get to the end of all that and it turns out it was just stress. That's a little bit of a letdown, I
yep. It
guess.
is, it is. Yeah, and yep. So no more dropout, Um,
Yeah.
it funny how the show like get into one of these like previously no name members into a characters that now
Yeah.
we remember the name of. So
Well,
I
yeah, there's
was
Nakajima. There's also Narita, his replacement, who was going to
yep,
become the starting shortstop after Nakajima quit. So
yep,
there's him. There's also
yep, yep.
Maruyama, who's the guy with the glasses who frequently sides with Coach Kashiwaba. Like when they're I'm not talking about the guy with the glasses who has a crush on Yuka, not the
Mhm,
first year,
mhm.
just a different guy with glasses, who will often say, "Oh, but the coach is just doing this to train us, and it's for our benefit, right?" There's him. So we know a few more
Oh
people's
wow.
names now, and I think that makes sense because there are a couple references in episode 70 to a training camp that's coming up.
Mhm. Yep,
Um,
that's right.
so knowing the names of more characters and getting more of a team vibe as we're approaching, their last run at the Koshien with Tatsuya as the ace,
Yep,
makes sense to know a few more people's names.
yep, yep. Makes sense.
Now,
I
are
consider
they
at
characters that we really care about? Not really, but maybe
yep,
the training camp will improve things in that regard.
yep. Well, we still have episode 66 where it's an one-off episode. Sorry, of Minami considered to be a student council president.
Right. I thought episode
Uh,
66 was pretty meh,
yeah, yeah, me
honestly.
too.
I
But
mean, the whole episode, you're basically just waiting around for her to be elected uh, student council president.
yeah, but we got some moment between Minami and Tatsuya, so yeah, I don't have much of a complaint.
We do, and I seem to remember that he said to her, "Don't do it,"
Yeah.
because
At first, and
you
then she was like, uh, she basically like, who are you to tell me not to do it? You know?
right. But in the end, doesn't she agree with him? Doesn't she like
Yeah.
turn it down?
Yeah. Because like I think it's more of the way that she have framed it. So at first, like he forced her not to accept the role, but like afterwards, when in the in the room, he told her that like, if you keep meeting everyone's expectation, at one point you will, like, you will start to lose it all. It's all, like, such to crumble down on you, and
Right.
you might lose everything. So that's when she was like, yeah, that makes sense. So it's
Right.
just like the way that he approached it, I think.
Yeah, I remember now that he says to her, "Next time it might not just be your hand," because
Yeah,
she's
yeah, yeah,
dealing
yeah.
with an
That's that
injury
one.
like
Yeah,
a jammed finger or something. And
yeah, yeah,
I got the sense when he said that next time it might not just be your hand, like it might be your health or it might be your life.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I got the
yeah,
sense that where that sentiment came from was the loss of Kazuya, the loss of his
yeah,
brother. Like he's obviously there's not a direct link between just working too hard, like having too many extracurricular activities and being too good a student, and getting hit in a traffic accident. Those two things are
yeah,
not really linked. But I still got the sense from Tatsuya that he's extremely sensitive to people putting themselves in danger, like in any way. So pushing
yeah,
yourself too hard, like having too many responsibilities and trying to please too many people. He's been hurt by Kazuya's death in a way that would put up red flags for him, even if somebody is just um, trying to take on too much responsibility. Like even that would alarm him.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right. That's right. I
So I
think they
think
basic.
Minami may sense that from him as well, and that's why,
Yeah,
or part of why, she agrees not to step up to be student council president. And I mean, the show doesn't have time for that anyway. We got
yeah.
we got things
True.
to do, man. We got baseball games to play. We got Koshiens to qualify for.
And we got a
We don't
lot of
need student
this
council president
from.
scenes.
Yeah, we got a lot of this from Tatsuya and Yuka as well. Like, Yuka forced Tatsuya to go on a date.
Yeah. Well, she cons him into it. He's gonna skip out on it.
Yeah,
And he vaults the wall, the the wall around his school. He like jumps over it to try to sneak past her. Doesn't work. She knows exactly where he's gonna be.
yeah.
And she gets to go to the movies for her cleverness, but he just falls asleep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh boy.
Have you ever fallen asleep in the movies on a date?
On a date, no, but yes, I did, like, watching movies with my friends, and I fall asleep at the beginning. I wake up at the end, so I still know how everything resolved. I just missed the middle. And everyone, my friend, just like, you tell me that you write blog about movies. You tell me that you do postcard about anime. How dare you? Like, sleep while you while you watching. Is that like the quality of your work? You just sleep and write reviews.
Sounds like you got some harsh critics over there.
well, well.
I fell asleep in the movies on a date once. I was watching The Hobbit.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, the first
What
Hobbit
did she
movie.
say? Did she say anything?
Uh, I don't even remember. It was ages
All
ago.
right.
Whenever the first Hobbit movie came out, I don't know when that would have been. Like 9
Yep.
years, 10 years,
Yep.
something like that.
You still remember the
But
Lord of the Rings?
I hardly remember anything about the Lord of the Rings movies. I remember a little bit
Yeah.
about Lord of the Rings in general.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. Yep.
and so I remember things about the movies just in general. But
Yep.
I was just
I might
curious
watch.
because Tatsuya falls asleep in Touch. He falls asleep during a like a romantic comedy or a romance drama, something like that. Yuka's crying at the end of the film. She looks over and he's asleep. So I was
Yep,
wondering if
yep.
like you could relate in the same way that I did.
Uh, yep. All right. I remember I watched like the trilogy of Lord of the Rings, like all in one go. So it's like eight
Mm.
hours or more in one go.
Oh, well,
And
if
now
you
I
watch
don't
the
remember
director's cuts,
much of
you're
it.
talking 12 hours, man.
Jeez.
The director's cuts of those films are massive.
Oh God. Well, but I will. I'm happy to give it a go again sometimes. It
You are a
it
glutton
it
for
just
punishment, man.
it's just long.
It is
Sometimes
long.
it's too long.
Yeah, I guess the film was too long for Tatsuya too. He even, you know,
Yep.
it. I'm remembering now. He lies to Minami about he wants to like go home and study his playbook or something, his
Yep.
baseball
Yep. Yep.
playbook or like
Because
something along
Minami
those
asked
lines.
him.
Because yeah, do you want to
Minami
go
asked
see
him
the
to go
Do you want to go see that movie? Yeah.
movie as well.
That's a classic anime rom com dilemma.
Yep.
Two
Yep.
people
Yep.
ask you to
Yep.
go to
That's
the
right.
same film. Who are you gonna go with?
Yep. And you know, he decided not to go with anyone. So
Right.
that to
Yeah,
his
but
credit.
he had that decision stripped away from him when Yuka outsmarted him.
Yep. Oh God. And I I
There
I,
was
I
a
love her.
Yuka scene in. I'm
Yep.
sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I just want to mention that I love Harada scene when he know about the whole thing and he tried to tell Minami about that. And the moment that Minami come up to him, asking like, "You just talk to me something," and he said like, "Huh? You didn't hear me anything. Just forget what I said."
Right. That's when he's spilling the beans about Tatsuya's date, but then he thinks the
Yeah,
better of it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
He also gets some spaghetti. Harada gets some
Yep.
spaghetti out of his story,
Oh God,
his information
I
about.
love it. A big portion, please.
I think
I
it's
love
so
it.
amusing that you love his character so much. I mean, he's a great character. He's just not central to the story, so I think it's funny that he's your favorite.
Yeah, well, he, yeah, he's like one of the most attentive characters here. You know, when he see Minami or Tatsuya having an issue, he know it like before they even admit this issue themselves. He know it. So you know
Yes,
he's like a best pro for me.
right. He's like the all-seeing eye of
Yep,
the show.
yep, yep. You
And
were mentioned
since
about
Touch
something
is oh
of Yuka.
yes, yeah. Thanks for reminding me. Do I even remember what I was gonna say? Oh yeah, we were talking about Yuka and how she outsmarted Tatsuya by positioning herself at that, you know,
Yep.
at the just the right spot to catch him after school. There was a scene in episode 67, a Yuka scene that I really did not enjoy. It was the one like that episode opens on the scene with her in the alley, like
Yep.
between a couple of the school buildings, I guess. And
Yep.
there's like a bunch of girls who are telling her that she should stop
Oh,
acting so
right.
high and mighty or something, and all
Yep.
they are all like really hideous looking,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
just to put it extremely bluntly. I thought that was really pretty stupid.
Yep.
That scene was just dumb.
Yeah. Well,
Like
I agree with you on
she's
that.
the first year who she's got the or she seems to outsiders to have the attention of like the star pitcher of the school's baseball team, and so they're all jealous, and they're all not very good looking, so they're more jealous. I was just like, this is not such great material.
Yep.
But she
Yep.
redeemed herself because when Kashiwaba was having Tatsuya do like that endless fielding practice, she
Oh.
saw that he was tired and she spilled the baseballs everywhere to force a break.
Yep. Yep.
So
Oh, you. Yep. Go on.
she's like, you know, she puts a foot wrong, or the show with regard to her character puts a foot wrong in one moment, but then she tends to bounce back. For every
yeah,
moment that she's like too clingy or too irritating or holier than thou, um, next time you see her, she'll probably be doing something smart or compassionate or amusing.
yeah. All right. This scenes. How do you think, is it amusing or like irritating? The scene where like Tatsuya tried to bat, and he hit on the foul shot, and then she just tried to go into like the spot where he would hit.
She's trying to get hit by one of his like line
Yep.
drives. Yeah. So that
Oh
he'll be
god.
indebted to her. That I think is
Yep.
amusing.
Amusing.
Obviously, it's totally irresponsible and dumb on top of that because you shouldn't be
Yep.
risking your health just to put somebody else in your debt or
Yep.
have leverage over them. But I, given that she is who she is, I think that's pretty amusing. Like that she would think that's a good idea.
Yep.
Kind of makes me chuckle and like shake my head.
Yep.
Like, oh, that Yuka.
Yep.
She's just
and
completely
and the
single-minded.
yeah, and the funny thing is like Tatsuya just hit the spot where she just left.
Right. Yeah. That's kind of what sells it, I think, is that she
Yeah.
has the
Yeah.
right idea, but she's always just like a couple feet
Yep.
misplaced.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Damn.
Yeah. Even when Touch is getting a little bit more dramatic with the more information about Kashiwaba's history and the whole Nakajima thing, there's always jokes.
Hmm. Hmm.
The show
Yep.
never gets too grim. It never stops, being funny, being fun to
Yep.
watch.
Yep. So yep. I think
We'll
I
see if
have
it
nothing else to
continues that
say about
trend
this.
in the training. What is it? The training camp that they're about to go to. We'll see if it stays,
Yep.
keeps its balance. Between I don't know if drama is even the right word, but between comedy and I don't know, characterization.
All right. All right. Yep. I still hope that we see more about Kashiwaba, like what he really thinks, because all we know is backstory of him, but from other people's perspective, not from his perspective.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if those baseball
Rumors.
those books that the principal took from the records room
Oh,
that
right.
are currently in his office. I
Yeah.
wonder if
Yeah.
those are ever going to re-enter play.
I would say yes, and I would love for the principal to be responsible for that. But we
For
see.
him to get found out and have to come clean and admit
Yep.
his mistake.
He. Right. Man, this guy, the principals.
Yeah, we'll see. There are 31 more episodes left of the show, so we'll see if in any of those he is made to atone for his crimes.
Yep. Yep. Alrighty. I guess we see you next week for some more anime.
Yeah, but it won't be Touch. We'll
Yeah,
be
it will
talking
be
about the
touch.
spring 2022 premieres.
Yep.
That's what's coming up. And then after that, I think
We.
we're talking about Touch once more before the vacation that I mentioned earlier.
Yep. That's right.
Not really a vacation, actually, just a trip.
Yep.
Then there'll be a long break before there's any more Touch, but we'll at least get up to 75 before that break. So we'll see you again soon.
Yep. All right. See you guys soon.
Hi everyone, and this is another Touch episode 71 to 75 this time, and it's all composed of the summer camp.
Right. The training camp.
It
Yes.
actually, yep, it actually, when I think about the series that has like 101 episodes, I would think that there's a lot of like magic involved. But now we reach to 75 and they haven't started a season of match yet. I'm a bit worried that they're gonna cross up for the last 25 episodes.
You
to
mean
get
like for
to get
the
to
summer Koshien?
yeah, for the summer question. I'm a bit worried at the moment because there's still a lot of opponents and they still, like they still they just spend the last 5 episodes in the summer camp.
Right. Well,
And
I don't know what to tell you. Like I can't remember. I've seen the show all the way through once before, but I can't remember how soon after the training camp that the Koshien
yep,
matches start. So I don't remember if it's going to be like
yep,
episode 76, if it's going to be episode 86, if or what somewhere in between or
or,
what it'll be exactly.
or
Um,
96, and they play baseball for like 2 episodes. They got to the coast end, maybe.
Maybe we'll get a like a big montage of Tatsuya
Yep,
pitching strikeouts and hitting home runs against people
yep,
from with like a bunch of different uniforms to indicate that they're
yep.
playing against a bunch of different schools.
Yeah, that could happen. But they did spend, I would say 2 or 3 episodes on the cooking,
Yeah,
on yuca cooking.
right.
Yep,
The big face off between Yuka and Minami, sort
yep,
of.
sort of.
What I
Well,
find kind of amusing
yep,
about this batch of episodes is that all the titles of the episodes,
tell
um,
you exactly.
well, yeah, they all have to do with the cooking, even though there are things like the cooking battle between Minami and Yuka. Like one episode will be Yuka
Yep.
versus Minami, the stubborn redheads turn in the kitchen, and then the next episode will be Yuka versus Minami comes to a conclusion. Minami's secret spice. It's all it's all
Yep.
like very dramatic. Whereas even though it is a big deal for Yuka to get this right, she really wants to prove that she can do this, that she can. I have to imagine what's underlying her desire to cook well, like to prepare these dishes and all that is she wants to prove that Minami is not needed, that she can fill that role, that she's
Hmm.
capable on her own. And what's underpinning that is that she has a crush on Tatsuya.
Yep.
Um, but there are
As
other things going on. Not it's not just cooking battles. It's not
all
Shokugeki
right,
no Soma Touch Edition.
all right. Just the one thing I feel a bit let down after I look at the title. Like in I would say episode 74 when they said like on the title card, the cooking battle between Minami and Yuka.
Yeah,
And then there was no battle at all. So
yeah. It's more a
that
battle
was
of
poor
wills.
advertising, man.
Yeah, it's a battle of whether Yuka is gonna be stubborn to the end or whether she's gonna accept Minami's assistance with
Yeah.
the stamina meal recipe for it,
Yep.
which she does have to do in episode 75. She goes out in the middle of the night with a flashlight and finds that crumpled up piece of paper,
Yep.
um,
And
which is a big
it,
defeat for somebody as stubborn as she is.
yeah, but think about it, like that piece of paper was outside that for how long, and there was no one picking up.
Yeah,
I thought that there is like a cleaner there, who who do this kind of stuff.
like a landscaper.
But nope. Nah, nah, nah. The cleaner who pick up trash.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I know that in Japanese high schools, the students themselves are responsible for a lot of the cleanup. Like
Oh, yep.
they all take turns
Makes sense.
cleaning up the classrooms after
Mm,
school, and even the hallways. They're involved in cleaning those too. But I have to imagine that the grounds are probably cleaned by other people. But I guess they were falling down on the job. Whoever it was who was
yep.
supposed to be picking up litter and stuff. Maybe it like fell underneath a bush. Maybe got tangled up in some branches or
Yep.
something.
All right. I take that.
All right.
The thing is, Tatsuya saw that, but he didn't pick it up.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe Tatsuya, in his infinite wisdom, knew that Yuka would eventually swallow her pride and go back for it.
Yep. All right.
Just kidding. He's not as wise as
I
Harada. Harada's the
I
one with
take
the
that.
real
Oh my
wisdom.
God. He he's still the best for me. He said all the things that that I don't know, a grade 12 student wouldn't have observed, but he observed that, he said it out loud, he framed that into a beautiful word, and he persuaded Tatsuya
Right.
to do his own thing. So he sees a gem. He actually touched something about Enchiro as well, about his I don't know about his attitude.
Yeah. Well, he was speculated about whether he was acting because of a
Or
grudge or because he wanted revenge, but either way, it was going to be interesting to see like
yep,
what came of it. Basically, Harada's
yeah,
like, he sees all the possibilities. He's playing 4D chess in his head, and he
he
understands all the different outcomes and how things could go. So he just has to step back and observe it. He can't influence it. It's like he's from the future and he can't mess
eh,
with the space time continuum.
all right. He's a guy who observed the multiverse.
Right. Yeah, he can see
Whatever
all the
possibility come out.
possibilities. Yeah. He's the
All
Doctor
right.
Strange of touch.
Yep. Oh God. But yeah, so we get to know more about Enchiro. For example, we know about his. I think he got some kind of injuries, so that like his vision is blurred some of the times when
Hmm.
he like overextended himself.
We had seen that before, hadn't we? Before these
Yeah,
five
we did
episodes.
see that, but yeah, it's happening again. I think it
Hmm.
repeat more during this time.
Yeah. Yeah, it happens during a batting practice.
Yep,
It happens. Does it happen when he's doing his face off against Tatsuya in like episode? Is it
he did. He did.
74?
Yep. Uh So the first one that he did not see anything because he had the issues. The second one his vision back to normal, so he can see the speed of of Tatsuya Beach.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah, he sees and he sees the third pitch and he hits a liner off of it. Tatsuya almost catches it, but then he misses it. It goes
Yep.
like touches
Yep.
his glove, but it goes over, and Tatsuya
Yep.
is really mad about that.
Yep.
But it's interesting that even though in that moment the coach has like proven himself in 1 versus 1 combat essentially against Tatsuya, he defeats
Hmm.
him, but he kind of pays him a compliment at the same time. Because this is the
Yep.
episode where we see Tatsuya experimenting with breaking balls when he's pitching to
Yep.
Kotaro during practice.
Hmm.
Also notable because that's what Nishimura is famous for, is his breaking
And
pitches. That's why he suffers from
for
that arm
pain, yeah.
injury.
Yep. Yep.
So
Yep.
the coach sees Tatsuya's doing this, and he's like, "Don't bother.
Hmm.
Like your form is terrible. Your breaking balls aren't going to do anything for you." But after it, like in the wake of the batting practice where he manages to get a hit off of Tatsuya, he phrases it a lot
Yep.
differently. He says, "You don't need any petty tricks. Your
Yep.
speed is fast enough."
Yep.
So he, even though he has an opportunity there to really rub it in Tatsuya's face and be like, "Oh, well, now that you lost to me, you got to do all these bunny hops with a barbell on your back, blah
Hmm.
blah blah." Instead, he, essentially compliments him on the speed and the accuracy of his fastballs.
Yep.
Um,
And
yeah,
yeah, and then he did get him to work hard before with the with the thing that you just said.
yeah. No, but that's
10
yeah,
times.
the bunny hopping with the barbell on your back around. No, that yeah, it gets him to
Uh,
work hard, and the show even kind of frames it in a somewhat positive light in the next episode. Like that's 71, I think, leading into 72, where at the beginning of 72 he's talking to Kotaro or something, and he's like, "Man, I'm get really no, I feel fine. Like I got lots of energy."
mhm.
That's no, that's torture.
Yeah, that actually not good because the moment that he found Tatsuya, like lying down, he smiled. He actually
Yeah.
vicious this guy.
Yeah, he wants to
Uh,
break him because Tatsuya is fighting back in like small little moments,
yep,
making little it's his brother that he keeps referring to.
yep,
In one of these episodes, he's like the former captain who was the ace pitcher and a really great leader and looked up to by everybody. Why don't you show us some of that sometime?
yep,
Obviously, he knows that that's not who Kashiwaba was. That was his brother. And
yep,
Kashiwaba knows that Tatsuya knows.
Yep.
because he understands that he and Minami have been snooping around like the records and
Uh-huh.
are looking for an excuse to get him um, kicked out, which they can't do because then they wouldn't be eligible for the Koshien.
And the principal, man.
Thankfully, he doesn't. He only makes like one appearance, maybe, in these 5 episodes.
Yep. With the I think it's like the committee or something like the.
Oh, it's the alumni of the
Yeah,
baseball
yeah, yeah. The
team, like
alumni.
former members of the baseball team, and you can see when the principal presents the pitching machine, when Kashiwaba realizes that it's his former teammates, maybe
Yep.
even the same guys who like called him a delinquent and kicked him out of
Hmm.
the baseball team. His eyes get really big when he looks at that pitching machine. Like he recognizes the people who used to torment him are may be the ones who gifted it to the school.
You just say something so racist. His eye get really big.
How is that racist? What are you talking about?
Sorry.
What do you mean?
Because no, it's not racist. It's because he just this is funny because he always hiding his eye behind the sunglasses.
But
So
his eyes
I'm
did
just
get really big.
yeah,
His
yeah.
eyes
So I
widened.
just so I just imagine like his eye getting big like inside the the glasses and it's just getting funny.
Okay.
Um,
Don't
this
do that,
guy.
man. Don't
It's not racist,
don't
right?
expose me on YouTube.
All right. Um, yeah, but the whole bulk of this batch it's about Yuka, like cooking and failing and eventually finding success. And yep, I think I like the base story. It's also sad to see that, like see against all the good advice, continue to, like doing um what she was at without without the advice of others. If there's someone who know about cooking or who care enough for her to like to supervise her, that would be a different story. I think I just look at it in a more serious way.
Yeah. I mean, when you watch these episodes, which I mean, I made the point earlier that they're not entirely focused around or centering on Yuka's cooking, but they do
Yep.
have a lot to do with it. So if you watch that sort of plot unfold over multiple episodes, eventually you do start to look at it a little bit more seriously.
Hmm.
I mean, because the show keeps going back to it over and over, and it
Yep.
does. It's a real point of frustration for her. So she should accept, help from Minami, and she should be more willing to take, to use Sasaki because he's offering to help, even though he's a klutz and drops the dishes
Yep.
and on and
Hmm.
on.
Hmm.
But she doesn't. She's selfish and she is stubborn, and she
Yep.
acts like a real brat during world history class in episode 72
Yep. Yep.
uh,
He did.
to her teacher. Man, I mean, it's kind of, on the one hand that seems kind of funny because like she is able to talk her way out of the trap that he sets for her so easily and so convincingly. She just says it's just a matter of which one is more important right now, and right now I need to learn how to cook. But at
Yep.
the same time, like you can't, you better not be sassing your teacher like that. Like that
Yep. Yep.
it's not. First of all, it's disrespectful. But second of all, it's not a wise choice. Like you're unless it's math and your teacher has to grade you like completely objectively based on your responses and the work that you showed to get them. If it's a
Yep.
history class, your teacher can be marking you down on your essays, just nitpicking what you've written. Like you shouldn't be doing that
Yep.
stuff. If you
Yep.
want to keep
Yep.
your
I
position
agree.
at the top of world history class, which she apparently is, uh, you be- you better
Yep.
participate in class and smile at the teacher.
That's right. But yeah.
Hmm.
Also, like she keep buying like all the expensive ingredient as well.
Yeah,
And at the end of the day, there are a lot of leftovers. So yeah, this kind of a sad thing for her, but
Yeah. Well, it is a little sad. Tatsuya makes the point early on in these 5 episodes to Minami that she's she grew up in a well-to-do household, so she's probably never cooked for herself before. She's probably never cooked anything.
yep.
And Minami, of course, she doesn't really like it that Tatsuya is at this training camp where Yuka is, and he's going to be there
Hmm.
for who knows how many days and nights
Yep.
unsupervised, and she knows that Yuka is angling for him.
Yep.
So she's obviously not happy about that. When he makes that remark about, well, she grew up well-to-do. She's probably never cooked anything. Minami says, "Oh, well, I'm sorry that I didn't grow up, rich."
Yep. Yep.
It's just that's such a fun little exchange that the two of them have. He's like, "Uh-oh, I really stepped in it now."
Yeah. And yeah, but the next thing he said was really thoughtful actually. He said like yeah, but I can say anything against people who want to try it.
Right. Well, I think. Wait, what? What does he say?
Yeah, he said something along that line. Like I don't want to say anything against people who want to try because I am not like something along the line that I am not in the position to say to
Right.
criticize these people.
Yeah. Oh, I thought that what he said to Minami after that was, "Oh, look, I found a beauty." Was that in some different
Hmm.
scene in one of these five
I think that's
episodes?
some I think that's some different scenes.
Okay. Because in
I don't
somewhere
I
in
can't even
here,
recall that scenes.
yeah, somewhere in here, he says he puts his foot in his mouth when talking to Minami, and then he says, "Oh, look, I found a beautiful woman." But I know what
Yeah.
you're talking about, and yeah, it is thoughtful because Minami like stops. She's walking down the hallway. She stops, looks back at him, and smiles.
Yep.
I think
Yep.
what he's talking about there is because he was so like Yuka's late to cooking. She's come late to it,
Yep. Yep.
and in the same way, he was late to baseball, and
Yep.
to really putting all of his effort into anything in general because
Yep.
he never did that before.
Yeah, that's
Um,
right.
so in that sense, he and Yuka have something in common there.
Hmm.
And he's, yeah, as you said, he's thoughtful enough to recognize that, and Minami appreciates that.
But I still think the MVP, like we said, is Hanada because the he talked Tatsuya out of, like relying on Minami on the late nights, eat,
Yeah,
and at the same time they are at like at the bottom of the stair looking up to the girls walking up as
yeah,
well. It's just essentially like Queen's essential touch right
yeah.
there.
We were just talking on the cinema podcast that we do
Yep.
about a film that had a mix of high and low humor, and I think
Yep.
that
Yep. Yep.
scene kind of exemplifies that. There's the
Yep.
low humor of the two of them trying to sneak a peek up some girls' skirts as they walk
Yep.
up and down the stairwell. They're perfectly
Yep.
positioned for it too.
Yep.
But there's
Yep.
also Harada, who is making a lot of salient points about Tatsuya's relationship with Minami and where he could afford to like improve it or see her point of view a little bit more, be
Yep.
more sympathetic.
Yep. That's true.
So that, yeah, I like that scene a lot. In fact, I like that episode a lot. I like that it was a Minami episode.
Hmm.
I like that it kind of examined her image as the perfect girl, like the girl next door, the
Yep.
the prodigy gymnast, the amazing cook, the beautiful idol,
Yeah. The perfect.
yeah, the perfect human being,
Yep.
and that Minami doesn't. It seems to other people that she does it effortlessly, but that eats at her. That
Yep.
that people see her that way, and they don't see all the hard work that she puts in, or that when she does put in a lot of hard work, sometimes they may not appreciate it.
Yep.
At first, she's upset with Tatsuya that he won't, he'll tell the baseball team not to go to Southwind,
Hmm.
but I think she realizes Tatsuya at first is like, "Oh, what have you done, Harada? You've driven a wedge between us. You went and said something that bothered me. Now I've made Minami upset with me." But
Hmm.
I think that Minami she recognizes the value of allowing Yuka to succeed, and allowing Tatsuya, not I don't know, making their relationship like a little bit less codependent,
Yeah,
so that she doesn't have to support him all the time. She can be allowed to
but
succeed on her own terms, and he can be on his.
yeah, but it's kind of a harsh way to say that she allowing Yuka to succeed because before like the whole gang have to like run into Northwind to eat at night. She did give Yuka the recipe with like an easy to do, like how to cut onion properly,
Right.
and Yuka ignore that.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
So it's not entirely her fault,
No,
like
it's not her
for
fault.
for other to rely on her, and she
Yeah.
take that up. So
Yeah. I do think that Tatsuya did the right thing though.
yep, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yep. He did,
it
he
it
did.
was the right thing for Yuka, but also it was the right thing for Minami. Like, it's not her
Yep,
responsibility, to make all this food.
that's right,
Her
that's right.
own she's got her own stuff to worry about, and she's not a superhuman like a lot of people think that she is. So she needs to
Yep,
be allowed to work through her own life at her own pace.
yep,
And I hope that she appreciates that. I think she
yep.
does, because we get a really nice scene between the two of them through the chain link fence,
Oh yeah, yep, yep.
before Tatsuya goes back to practice. You can tell that they're kind of both working to get back to where they were before, like kind of
Mm,
talking to each
yep,
other playfully. You know.
yep, yep. That's a good scene right there. I agree.
Yeah.
Um, and so her tournament will come soon. I don't know about
Right.
the baseball, but her tournament is
Right.
come up pretty soon.
Yeah, it's like this coming Saturday or the
Yep,
next Saturday, or something. And
yep,
Tatsuya looks through the practice schedule, and
yep.
apparently the training camp's going to go for a while longer, um,
And
because he's
yeah,
not going
you
to be able
can
to get out
realize
of
that
it.
as well. That's right. And you can know exactly what Tatsuya was looking for.
Yes, yes, she does.
I love
Both
that.
she and Minami are well informed about what's going on, because
Yep,
they can't let, the other one get ahead in the information race as far as Tatsuya is concerned.
yep. So yeah, I think the team has been appreciated. Sorry, and Chiro a bit more because they are like physically fit now, or their skill improve at the moment. But
Hmm.
yeah, that's one thing. Do they, like do that's make me just thinking that the Enjiro really, deserve that.
Oh no, he absolutely does not.
Yep,
Yeah, there
but
are some scenes where the guys in the baseball team seem to be coming around to his way of doing things.
yep,
Uh, yeah, they make the remarks about, "Oh man, you've put on some muscle," when they go to the bathhouse,
yep, yep,
and Kotaro even kind of paints a picture of him wearing those glasses so that he can. They're kind of like a mask, so he can maintain that demonic persona. But when they qualify for the Koshien, he's going to take off the sunglasses and he's going to be crying and he's going to embrace all of them. So I mean, I think that the reason that he comes up with that visual is, one, to motivate everybody else, because that's his job as the captain of the team, and
yep,
two, like, they've been denied that sort of approval, and praise for so long that he's probably desperate for it, so he has to imagine it because he can't get it
yep,
from
yep,
his coach.
yep, yep, yep. That's right. Uh,
Yeah, I think the show is probably trending towards, some sort of redemption for Kashiwaba, because it
yep,
it does, the characters on average see him in a more positive light now. There was even a scene, I remember our previous discussion, which I suppose will be a part of this episode that everyone is listening to. I'm going to combine a bunch of our touch episodes into one video.
yep.
But there, somewhere in the previous 5 episodes, 66 to 70, Tatsuya says something in support of Kashiwaba's methods when he's talking to Minami. Maybe,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I can't remember exactly what it was or what the context was now, but Just in general, I think the show's
It
viewing him as a
all
little
right.
bit less of a villain.
Yeah, it's about one of the guy who want to drop out.
Right.
Yep.
There was that 2 episode miniature arc about Nakajima,
Hmm.
like the shortstop who was having trouble seeing the ball the same way that Kashiwaba does,
Yep.
but for
Yep.
different medical reasons.
Hmm.
Um, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah. So and there's also even when Kashiwaba is being a huge dick, there's still the little dog who follows him around all the time, which is like a clear sign that there's the dog represents like the good in him, you know.
Yep.
Um, so he's not gonna be, they're not gonna get to like the finals of the Koshien or the finals of
Yep.
the qualifying match for the Koshien, and then the coach is gonna like take a baseball bat and hit everyone on the head with it and disqualify
Yep.
the team. We're not going for
Yep.
that sort of ending here. I hope.
Uh, you know what is missing for from this batch of 5 episodes?
What's that?
Nita. We
It's
don't see any of
true.
Nita. Yep.
No Nita. That's right. Hmm.
So I actually, like in this instant, I actually want to see more of Nita and Minami. They're having a really good relationship as well.
Yeah, I agree. I like the two of them together.
Yep. Sorry for Tatsuya, but Tatsuya and Minami they have really good relationship as well. But Minami and Nita they have like something different as well. So yeah, I really want to see them more together.
Yeah, I mean it goes back to what Tatsuya said in a previous episode. I think that he and Minami have grown up together, so they kind of take each other for granted.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
if somebody comes
Yep.
along who's a good fit for them,
Yep.
romantically, they both kind of say to each other at different points in the series, but they both say to each other like they'll support if Minami finds a guy that she likes, Tatsuya
Yep.
will support
Hmm.
her. If Minami says to Tatsuya, if you find a girl who's better than I am, um,
Yep.
I'll support you. You
Yep.
know, they do. I guess they do kind of take that for granted that they're gonna always be together. They're always gonna be near each other, which is I think why part of why the Nita Minami relationship is fun because it even though you can assume probably that Minami and Tatsuya are going to end up together.
Hmm.
There's a possibility. Like the show plays pretty well with the concept that Minami might end up with Nita.
Yep.
Um, which is
That
difficult to do because the
it
main
make it a
character,
better fit
the
as well.
what's that?
Because Tatsuya and Minami they sometimes they look for each other like a childhood friend for sure, but sometimes like a brother and sister as well. There's like a level of care that like they don't have. That's like the normal, I would say, romantic relationship doesn't have.
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah, like for example, her making all this food,
yep, yep, yep. That's true.
unless it's like the very beginning of a relationship, that's
Yep,
probably not
that's
happening.
right. That's right. And the way that they can really act natural to each other, like siblings. So I
Yeah,
yeah, I can see why Minami and Nita spark differently.
right.
But
There's not the same comfort. She probably gets a thrill. Both of them probably get a thrill out of being with each other because it's not normal. It's
yep,
not what they've been used to.
yep,
Something new and exciting, and
yeah, that's right.
it's kind of exciting to watch as well. So hopefully we get
Yep,
to see him again. But I understand why he wasn't in these episodes because these are training camp episodes. We barely even get any
it's true.
Nishimura. I think he only appears like at the beginning of episode 71, if I'm not mistaken,
Yep, yep,
maybe.
yep,
And
yep,
then
yep.
somebody points out to, oh
Hey,
yeah, Tatsuya says, "Oh boy, I'm off to this training camp. Some guys
yep.
can fool around and go on dates, but not me. I'm gonna be working hard." And Nishimura's like, "Oh shit."
I made it work now. Yes,
Yeah,
yes, that one.
yeah. And then he's out of there, for the next 4.5 episodes. So I
Uh,
guess the next time we
uh,
see those guys in a significant capacity will be when they're on the opposite side of the baseball diamond.
yeah, that's right. Or to be exact, he be out for a month because the next time when we back, it's gonna be I would say a month from now for
Next time
Touch
we talk about
76
Touch,
AD. Yep.
yeah, most likely. I don't remember. I don't know exactly when the next Touch episode
Yep.
will go out, like the next Touchcast. But the next time we talk about it will probably be in roughly a month because you're going away to France.
Yep. Yep. That's right.
Gonna watch some
So
films.
yeah, watch some films. Well, a lot of films.
Yeah, like 40 probably.
Oh, hopefully I can go that. But I need a good sleep.
Yeah, you've told me stories about going to Cannes and falling asleep while
Yep.
watching a movie, like in a theater or
Yep.
yeah, that's
It's just like 15 minutes, but you know, the damage is done.
you still mark it as complete on Letterboxd though.
Yep. Alrighty. So, yeah, I think that's it. Do you have any other notes
I
before
don't
we
think
wrap
so.
it up?
No, not
Cool.
really.
Yep. All right. So I think that's it from us, and you will hear back from us in a month time.
Yep. See you then.
All right. See ya.